calls from the neighbours and no reaction from the family, they went to their apartment. They saw that the door was left unlocked from inside. When they pushed open the door, what they saw was a horrifying sight. 10 bodies were hanging from the iron grill on their ceiling. Using clothes on the body of the grandmother was found lying on the floor in the room. The bodies were hanging in a circular formation. The family members were blindfolded, hands and feet bound, mouths taped shut. While they hung themselves, the family's dog, the only member alive, was tied on the roof and was said to be barking continuously. That poor dog was hanging like on the ceiling with his kind of family and loved ones around him, and he was literally trying to like cough out. Okay guys, I've moved the mic like close up again so we get closer whispers. Let's talk more about the family and who they are. So we have the Chundawat family, also known as the Bhatia family, moved from Haryana to Delhi about 20 years ago and lived in a 3-story house. They ran a grocery shop and a plywood business. Three generations of the family lived in the same house. So these were the family members. Narayani Devi, 80, mother of Bhuvnesh, Lalit and Pratibha, 57, widow, daughter of Narayani Devi. Then we have Bushnif, 50, also spelled as Bhavnesh, elder son of Narayani Devi. Then we have Lalit, younger son of Narayani Devi. Then we have Savita, 48, elder daughter-in-law of Narayani Devi, wife of Bhuvnesh. Tina, 42, also spelled as Tina, younger daughter-in-law of Narayani Devi, wife of Lalit. Priyanka, 33, only daughter of Pratibha. Naidu, 25, also spelled as Nitu, elder daughter of Bhuvnesh, Manu called Menaka, 23, younger daughter of Bhavnesh, and then Dhruv called Dushyant, 15, only son and youngest child of Bhavnesh, and Shivam, 15, son and only child of Lalit. If I'm looking down, by the way, it's because I'm looking at my iPad, because that's what I read off. So, everyone in the group was a well-read, socially adept individual. A family of 11 lived in that residence in Burari, Delhi. The matriarch, Narayani Devi, was a widow who raised 3 sons and 2 daughters, 2 of whom had lived in the house with her at one point. Lalit was the younger son and Bhavnesh the older. Both were wed, one to Dina, and the other to Savita. Lalit and Dina were raising only Shivam, their lone kid, while Bhavnesh and Savita had 2 daughters and 1 boy, Manikani, 2, and Dhruv. Narayani Devi's daughter, Pratibha, was the mother of her only daughter, Priyanka. The younger son, Lalit, had a plywood company, and the family operated a grocery store as well. According to neighbours, the family was doing reasonably well in both of their enterprises. Allegedly devout, the 11-person family was described by neighbours, relatives and co-workers as kind, generous and peaceful individuals who never even waiting for the police. They're like just taking it upon themselves, and it's so disrespectful. Like, according to these neighbours, these people were nice and friendly and kind and generous. So like, why are they being like this towards them now they're gone? It's just disgusting. Due to so many people gathered there, the police had an issue in even reaching the crime scene. The moment the police arrived at the scene, their biggest challenge was controlling the crowd that had gathered in front of the Batty family's home, which, again, now because these bloody neighbours have done this, the police can't even do their job, because, like, there's, like, a mass crowd of people, because people want to know what's going on, but it's like, these people have literally just been found, and, like, they're still human. Everyone's got loved ones. Like, no one wants to know of this online or see it online. Like, if these had friends and family, they'd all just gonna imagine finding out about something as horrific as like family members or your loved ones. I was like, through the media instead of through the police, or you know what I mean? Like, it would feel absolutely, it would just feel more violating and more just so upsetting for the family and loved ones. The police official to first reach the crime scene was Rajiv Tamar, head constable, Burari police station, 2017 to 2020, and also the family's former neighbour. This better not be the neighbour that filmed, because, well, having observed the aforementioned events, Tamar believed that the mass suicide formation represented a banyan tree. Manoj Kumar, the station house officer of the Burari police station from 2016 to 2019, asserted that he had never seen something like this in his entire career. When he and his colleagues arrived at the crime location, the police officers were left with more questions than answers after witnessing a lack of circumstantial evidence supporting the alleged mass killing. No burglary sign because the women were wearing all of their ornaments. No signs of indicating that the incident was a suicide because the members were blindfolded. And no, that is really weird. Because, like, if it was like why are they putting blindfolds on everyone? Because you wouldn't. And, like, the last person, like, even if, say, one family member had to kill all the other family members before they got the divorce, like, it would be pretty, like, that person last, they could, I guess, put the blindfold on, but it would be kind of hard to put the blindfold on. I don't know, it just doesn't make sense. Like, it's a bit weird. Like, and surely there'd be another person there for the last person to kill them and put the blindfold on them. Or they were doing it not to look at people in their eyes while they killed them. It's like, do you know what I mean? Like, God. So don't look at me, basically. After receiving news of the terrifying incident, the Forensic Science Laboratory, Delhi, sent a team of experts to Delhi. During the inquiry, the police authorities reviewed the footage from a CCTV camera that was installed in one of the house's walls and faced the lane. The camera had been examined from the night before the occurrence. This was done to make sure that there was no chance of an outsider entering and to make sure that nobody outside was involved in the occurrence. Despite their disagreement with the remaining family members, the police first filed a murder case in response to their accusation. Later, the case was handed over to the crime branch. The officials were concerned about a few things. With evidence, traces of struggle in his fingers, the oldest son, Bhavnesh, had attempted to untie his hands, so that suggests that if someone tried to untie their hands, like, they were murdered. They didn't do that themselves, because to kill yourself, you're gonna have to have your hands free. So, like, that shows that whoever had done this, it wasn't Bhavnesh, because he had attempted to remove his hand ties, and, you know what I mean? eyes were taped, which again, like, people usually tape their eyes so the perpetrator can't look them in the eyes, or they can't see them, and the victims can't say anything because they have their mouths tied. So, and the cotton in their ears, that's really weird. That's kind of like they can't hear them, or muffled. Maybe so, like, I don't know, in case they did survive, that they couldn't say anything because they couldn't hear. I don't know. Nori, Annie and Debbie, the family's oldest, was discovered dead with her body partially turned in the adjacent room, which I guess could suggest maybe she was like running or like trying to like turn in like to her room. She had marks on the side of her neck from the belt around her neck. Everyone in the family had a scarf around their neck which was used to hang themselves. There was also evidence of a ceremony that had been carried out the previous evening. There was a ceremonial pie left over. It was evident from the ashes surrounding the pyre that it had been utilised a day before the tragedy. The CCTV footage from June the 28th, 2018 revealed that Lilith's wife, Tina, and her son, Shivam, had purchased 4 stores, but there's 11 of them. Furthermore, Tina was observed carrying some recently acquired tools with Nitu on June 30th, 2018, around 9:40 p.m. also started to record his thoughts in the diary. 3 years later, Bhopal Singh, husband of Narayani Devai, father of Lalit, passed away. He was head of the family and the patriarch character in their family. His passing away was a major loss for the family, leaving them to fend for themselves. All the responsibilities fell on Lalit. While performing a ritual for the departed soul of Bhopal Singh, Lalit suddenly started chanting mantras, which shocked the entire family. This miracle, quote, made the whole family believe in miracles. This incident might have been the turning point for the entire family. But so he suddenly started talking then when his father process information rationally develops. Hearing voices is one of the direct effects of psychosis. Lily had recovered his voice a year after his father's passing. Following the conclusion of the ground investigation, the criminal branch decided to conduct a physiological autopsy, in which a team of psychologists and scientists examined the deceased person's mind to determine what transpired. It was an instance of shared psychosis, as Lilith was the one experiencing it and was gradually passing it along to his family.